Make sure the levels are good to go. Cool. I was going to do, how's it going, guys? Trey Clark here. I'm calling this the Bear Witness. If you've been Owen Benjamin, we're good. We're good. I'm live now, so you got to quit making me. Now, hey, we're good. Are we good right now?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. So because I've had 2 channels shut down before I ever tried to even get monetized or anything, which I'm not trying to now. I didn't know there was 1,000 subs before you could even live stream, so I looked into it. There's a different way to do it, which I'm doing now. Live streaming for me as a musician, it's a little easier to do it without that. But I'm doing it now because I want to think clearly as I talk and own the words I say up front. I was going to do a podcast of doing Jimmy Buffett and Charlie Robison were such a big part of different stages of my life as far as music, as far as writing, and neither one, they're both kind of remind me of me in a humble way, that neither one of them are golden throats, but kind of write how they sing, which is how I wanted to go about it, kind of like the Jim Croce stuff. But I kind of was getting into that, and like, why am I even doing this? And what am I, without being too full of myself or anything, a lot of you know that I have some pretty, some principled ideas that might make you think are, a little nonsensical, and that I have a pretty interesting sense of humor at best, and that I know that things are getting ready to shift. I'm pretty intuitive, and I think most of us do too. In a weird way, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me what I'm thinking, and I'm always telling myself, I'm supposed to be asking you. But deep down, I know that I have some kind of intuition, and I have time and an interest in connecting dots and stuff. So it's like a hobby that has kind of become a passion. It turns into conspiracy theory type stuff, but it really is just kind of like looking for liars. And I was one, big time liar. Nothing big, just kind of like trying to carry myself as someone that I wasn't, because I'm really not cool until I know that type of thing. And so you're never happy. You're just trying to scratch an itch. So I realized at some point, through nothing other than, there's a Proverbs 25:2 made sense more today than any other time. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the honor of kings to seek it out, which basically he's telling us his love language type of stuff. So as I talk about this, keep in mind, this is a really weird podcast for me or video for me to make, especially live. But one thing I want to say is, as a person who used to kind of like wiggle around as a good liar, I don't remember the last time I tried to deceive anyone. And I'm trying real fast. I kicked being an alcoholic without quitting drinking. I broke my back, had horrible surgery, the worst advice ever on pills. Don't even think about it anymore. And I can take pills, even food. So you think about the toughest thing ever that really plagues us. Pills and booze ruin plenty of families. And overweightness, just, it's us. Oh, you can share you can share the link on Facebook. So there's a little thing that, hey, look at me.
Oh, sorry.
Look at me. On the deal, you can go, it'll be share, okay, and you can just share the link to yourself, hit it, and then post it on Facebook. Okay. So the reason I'm saying this is that I've gotten really lucky without trying. So I look back and I was like, I don't remember the last time I've been probably even legally drunk. Would you say that's?
Yeah, I've never seen
Beth, who is my recent bride, we've been working together 24/7 here at Trey Clark's Doghouse, Lexington. And I was trying to explain to someone, I was like, yeah, I drink all the time, but I don't really get drunk. And she was like, I've never seen you drunk. That's accurate, right?
Yeah, I've never seen you drunk.
And I'm a bottle of Jaeger night guy. It was just weird to say. I haven't told a lie in years as far as trying to deceive. And I don't think about food. All the stuff that I used to struggle with, overeating, booze, and all this stuff. And I'm trying to like see if there's something I can share because it was effortless. And that's the whole thing. There's no decisions that I made at all. Just things fixed themselves. There was an effort in getting over the idea that it was stupid, that I don't have the right to sit here and talk about this. But I am compelled to share it just in case someone else agrees that it's a good idea for me to do it. So the main thing that I'm reluctant to say, and I don't know why, but it's just the truth. There have been a lot of people that have looked into something that is the most embarrassing thing to bring to the table. And it has to do with questioning the shape of the earth. This is not a video about trying to convince you of anything. It's just this phenomenon to where if you know something's not right, no one's going to get convinced to do anything differently, especially not from me. But there are some good ideas. Don't ever follow a man, just follow good ideas. Because some will have good and bad ones. And don't lose the good ones just because the man's bad. And don't follow bad ideas just because you think you owe it to the man for being your hero. Tucker Carlson wears a Kabbalah bracelet. Alex Jones was Bill Hicks. Joe Rogan knows. These are not, you don't invest in men. But they do have good ideas. Shill or not. Shills have to have good ideas or they wouldn't work. So the reason I'm doing this is because I got to share it. And I couldn't really articulate it because I didn't try to do anything. And I'm no different. I haven't changed. Except I'm just happier. And things make more sense. That's all it is. The analogy would be like the lights got turned on and you can't turn them off anymore and tell me that the room isn't what it is. A lot of us want to go through life as far as make excuses for bumping into things because we can't see or because things get rearranged. But once the lights get turned on, you know where the couch is. You know where your obstacles are. And even when you turn them off, you can't unsee it. So you can't really fall from grace. And it has to do with just, if it's not true, don't say it. If it's not right, don't do it. And there's no decision in it. If you do this one thing. And the reason I'm struggling to say it, because it is that hard to believe it. You have to believe that you are loved. That God can be everything that he is in the Old Testament and the New Testament, and whether you went to church or not, if you believe that he created you for a reason, instead of, even with all the other billions of people and all that stuff, once you realize what it took for you to get here and why you're here, everything just falls into place. It really, truly does. So what kind of got me thinking about this was I was involved in megachurch. I've been involved with a church reluctantly, thinking that that's going to get me into heaven or make me happy or solve problems. Mega churches, all that stuff, worship leaders, children's worship leaders, here in Houston, in the Panhandle and all that stuff. And all it did was just make me mad because I didn't feel like a bad person until I was the one raising my hand and singing. Like, well, I don't want to. And it doesn't make me feel better. And then I realized everywhere you go, it's just a big set of rules of you got to be good or bad. You have to do it this way in order to be anyone's favor. And it better be someone in the church first, or they're going to make you feel bad. Fuck that. Fuck all of it. God made me someone who loves cussing. It is 7:16 in the morning, and one thing is, I don't take pills, I don't get drunk, but my back doesn't hurt, and there's a little bit of vodka in here. Probably be the same drink at about noon. And a lot of people would say, that's a bad idea. You don't get to call yourself a good person if that's what you do. They're wrong. All day long. I can make every wrong decision, every right decision. It's just a different game. What got me started thinking about this is God does all these things. You know, he takes children early, he causes pain, all this stuff. When Beth and I got robbed at CVS, we got robbed at gunpoint, and it wasn't a quick robbery, it was a heist. We were robbed for about 45 minutes. Is that about right?
Yeah, about 45.
On the ground, I got kind of, not pistol whipped, but about a grade down from it. And I was never afraid. I started playing this movie in my head of like, what does it look like when people get shot? It's real fast. If you look at a boxer getting dropped, it happens very fast. I'm like, it's not going to hurt as much as just getting beat up. And I wasn't worried at all. I started thinking about God, like going, that's how you're going to go? Like looking through a window, watching me walk up. And this is why I was kind of wandering off. On the floor at a CVS at about 12:45 in the morning, being robbed. I'm sitting here and he's going, you're here, I get it, but why are all your friends not here with you? Who knows what that was. Then I looked at some Funyuns and I thought how funny it would be if I got everybody shot on the closed circuit TV reaching for the Funyuns. And go, what are you doing? And then Beth is sitting upright because they were all flirting with her and next to the Snickers. And I thought, I'm not going anywhere for a while. But everything was very peaceful. And as I left, we talked about it. I was like, I wasn't afraid at all. Why? Because I was going home. And as I thought about that, everything boils down to we're afraid to die. The only thing worse than that is I'm afraid to not die when I wish I could. Torture, stuff like that. That's pretty rare, but it does happen. But everybody wants to live forever. I started thinking, how shitty would it be if you couldn't die? And then I thought, I would want to live forever too if I knew what happened when I met my maker and I lived like a lot of these elites that trying to put chips in our heads and all that kind of stuff. And then as a conspiracy theorist, I've gone into every nook and cranny of everything. And I know a bunch of shit. I've talked to a bunch of people. I've talked to people I can't believe I actually sought out. They gave me information that I can't believe. I'm sitting there like, what am I going to do with this? And I'm arguing with people who don't even really care about the argument that much. In The Shape of the Earth, I found out I didn't really care that much about it. So why am I still compelled to? Because I was tuned into something that I'm lucky, I think it's luck, that I was just like, something's not right. If you talk to anyone, please don't get scared off by the term flat earther. I'm not a flat earther. I just know it's not what they say. And I've done a lot of stuff and talked to a lot of people to say there's something really off. But there's also something really off with our maps and stuff like that say it's off. I don't have any proof of what it is, just what it's not. With my own cameras and all that stuff. So that's about as far as I want to go into why I even entertain it. But as you start looking into it, you do believe in the dome. You do believe that we're stationary. So why would they lie to us? Why am I looking into it? I don't know, but it's interesting and I'm compelled to, like so many others, you end up finding God. Why? I didn't know until recently. Why is it so important? Nobody cares what you think about the shape of the earth. They really don't, unless they hate you and you're just above, hopefully, a pedophile. Nobody wants to be grouped in with flat earthers. We're the stupidest people ever. I don't even like to group myself in with them because they act like they know it. And there's some people watching this that will watch this that will give me some crap about that. But so what happens if you have to start going, all right, what's true? Science books can't be true. There's too much. If someone's getting paid, start looking at it. And you looking at NASA, and the first thing I did was wanting to mock anyone who thought the Earth was flat. Ha ha ha, because I'm so smart. And I couldn't. Almost everyone tried. Just prove without a shadow of a doubt that the Earth is a spinning ball in space. Just prove it with pictures, evidence, and prove it to someone. You can't. And then you start realizing everybody's lying. Fair enough. Maybe it's not that interesting to you. But then you're like, okay, what evidence, what does the Bible say? And then you find out what the Bible says. It says there's a firmament. Then you find out NASA was run by devil worshippers. Jack Parsons and, L. Ron Hubbard and all those cats. So that's kind of weird. Then you find along the way that your government's really a piece of shit. The Gulf of Tonkin was just horrible. And Tuskegee and all these things happened. You realize we're just kind of chess pieces. And you get pretty cynical and it's pretty depressing. But then you realize, all right, let's just open the Bible. Now, I'm not a scripture person. Open the Bible and then there's Genesis. And it gives you everything you need right there. There's a firmament. You separated the waters above and below. You just look around. It's stationary. It's flat like a seal, like a wax seal stamped. And the Bible says these things. And I know I'm the same. It's like, so why? But I think the Bible just kind of says stuff and just take it with a grain of salt. The Bible has good intentions, but don't take it all the way. So what happens is you start looking at it, the Bible tells you exactly what it is. You look at what's happening with HAARP, with CERN, and everything has to do with the Tower of Babel, when it's trying to take God's place. Operation Dominic, Operation Fishbowl, all these things we're trying to get up there and jack with the firmament. And nothing's new. They're trying to make us all speak the same language, live under the same government. And if you pay attention, it's the exact same thing, just different technology. They could build they could build pyramids. So they had technology we can't understand. Just because we can send pictures to each other, 1,200 pictures of our grandfather in 1 second. They would think it's probably weird that we used a telephone to take a picture, I bet. But we're doing a lot of stuff wrong. It's not because we're enlightened. So you just kind of live in that. And what happened with me, it's like, hey, I've learned this, and I learned this, and I learned this, and I know more about the globe model than the heliocentric than anyone. Anyone that I know, and I can win debates. Nobody wants to debate because they don't care. Why? Because they don't care. But it's the truth. And that's the difference. And I think we're coming up on a time where it is going to make a difference. In the Proverbs 25:2, and this is coming from someone who gets surprised every time I open the Bible because I didn't read it. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the honor of God it's the honor of kings to seek it out. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the honor of kings to seek it out. So, and then because God tells us what he wants. Really, the whole freaking Bible is just him saying, I want you to do this. 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 I want you to not do that because that makes me sad. This is happy. And especially like Dawkins and those guys are like, he's a jealous, selfish God, the worst God you could ever wish. You're saying that he's God. And if he has these tendencies, why did he make us? Because he could certainly make us to not experience joy. Pure pain is not why we're here, or we wouldn't feel the contrast. So why are we here? Well, you have to figure that out. You have to start asking questions. And to ask questions, things have to not make sense. And just like we like to hide the ball with the dog, God made us in his image. You have to start looking at it like that. When I really started to get it is when I started to understand that God made us like him. We're supposed to recognize ourselves in God. We're supposed to recognize God in us. And I run Trey Clark's Dog House here. So we train dogs. We live with them. I got about 17 of them within 10 steps. And it dawned on me, first it dawned on me that if God can feel joy, there's got to be a yin and yang to it, then he must be able to feel pain. I wonder if he does. Does he invent pain? Why would he do that? Why would he kill children? And tornadoes and whatever. Floods. Well, you have to be afraid of dying to really worry about it too much. And that's really it. If you're not afraid of dying, you have to consider that. Why does God do a lot of stuff? Well, you get into God's domain. He's got that figured out, I'm guessing. You're overweight and you got high blood pressure. Why don't you start with that before you start saving, all the children in a place you at best are donating $200 to. So if he experiences pain, he created it. And if he created pain, he had a reason for it. And I think it has to do with anything. You can't see blue until you see unblue. You have to have contrast. And that's what he is. He's all of it. He's pain, king of pain. And we have no problem saying he's responsible for everything. But whenever we do something wrong, we got Satan to blame. Satan made me do it. God did that to someone over there, but God did this to the world and created us to suffer. But Satan made me make other people suffer. It becomes kind of tiresome and very childish after a while. You realize there's a rhetoric in there that's not in the Bible. And then if you can imagine God feeling pain, why would he do that? Because we'll go to Genesis. First words in the Bible, there was nothing. Okay? You read just a few words before you realize there was nothing out there. So if it was him that we consider is the creator of everything, he was probably pretty bored. And if what he wanted was something like this, you bet he was bored, because I bet we're a handful. So he probably had angels ready to go, but I thought this is interesting. This is kind of a side note. It doesn't talk about him inventing the waters. It talks about him dividing the darkness and the light and creating the land and separating the waters. But he had to deal with the waters. So whether that's on his terms or whatever, I don't know, but he was able to do it, obviously. So, and there's a reason why right now everyone is trying to get up there. So keep that in your back pocket long after you quit watching me. So then, if he went through all the painstaking things to create land and create man, create woman, and give us dominion, he doesn't mince words. He didn't say, it was kind of like 7 days, but that's our time now. You can boot a computer, and I bet you in 100 years, it'll be sharper images than we see. And that's what they want to do. God forbid, right? You can boot a computer in less than 7 days. Everything can come into existence. And what Kurzweiler said, that is basically, to believe we're not in a simulation, is you'd have to just disregard, you'd have to think any of these things aren't true to think we're not in a simulation. The first one is, there's nothing magical about the wet stuff that goes on in us. All the stuff we have is physically explainable. Even if we don't know how it got here, we know kind of the concept of how it works. And surgery and all that stuff shows us that we can work with, it's not magic, it's not hocus pocus, that we will continue to make better and better computers, which I was around when Pong was here, and I'm around when everything on my TV, if I'm playing a game, looks better than real life. And that we're going to continue to want to make simulations. So, and those simulations are going to want to make simulations they already are. And so that's just a reality. Any one of those things cannot be denied, as far as I'm concerned. But what is God doing? Of course it's a simulation. He had an idea and wants to see how it goes. Why? Well, it seems to be pretty intense. And he gave us a lot of clues to remind us that we're loved. And I kind of want to leave it at this idea. Nobody that has all the power that has ever existed, the power to create life, is so bad at creating misery that we don't all live in it all the time. Life is pretty good if you let it. And at times, even if you have a bad life, there's always, it's not constant misery. And it's because there's a contrast. It's not constant joy. It can't be. We have to feel those aches and pains. I've seen fire. I'm not doing that one. But it's not about the flat earth. And the reason why I'm asking you to look into it is that you start looking for something to be a lie. Start with that. Make fun of people, but go to NASA. Look up pictures of the earth. Look up the history of each picture. Is there things to be scrutinized? There's no picture of the earth. They say one since 72, and then everything's just bullshit. Everything's just CGI. And that's fine. That can also be true. That's all I want to say. Just look into it. You're going to find something else. And if you find the truth, you're going to want more of it. If you're struggling with something, like I have, always will be, just look for something that's true. Don't worry about trying to fix it. If you've tried to fix something in your life that you just have no control over, the analogy is, if you've seen the traps, they're illegal in a lot of states. It's a raccoon trap. You just take a can, like a Folgers can, chain it to a tree, and you put nails going inwards and some food in there, and they reach in and they'll grab it. They won't let go. They'll chew their own arm off and then go die, but they'll never let it go. And all you have to do is let it go. It's truly like that. If I find myself trying to fix something, and I think I know what the outcome needs to be, I remind myself, first of all, you can go to the bathroom. You cannot, to the lowest fractional outcome, know exactly how it's going to go. You can't write it out. You don't know how long you're going to pee for. You don't know if you're going to stub your toe. You don't know anything about the future. You just know what you hope it's going to be if you do this today. The past, you can't live there either. It's just a documented piece of paper for you to help make your now better and to create a better future now. And God only lives here. And this is the only place you can love or be loved, right here. You can't be loved in the future or in the past. And it sounds like I'm rambling a little bit, but just think about, there's no task at hand other than look into the truth. Because it is true. And it's just the first verses of the Bible. Just start there. Do you believe it or not? And the thing is, you think Christians aren't being persecuted? You're wrong. There's a shortcut to persecute Christians. And it is the flat earth. Do you believe in the Bible? Yes. What do the first words say? God created the heavens and the earth and all that stuff. Do you believe that? Well, okay, you're in the club. You can hang out and be a slave. Do you believe the next person up, do you believe what the Bible says about the earth being created by God? Do you believe man and woman were created by God? Well, yeah, through evolution. You get to be in the bad guys club. You get to stay here on earth with the bad guys. And it's going to be it's hard for me to do this video right now. So imagine how hard it's going to be when the Bible says you might be beheaded, or you might be stuck here until the rapture's over. The Bible doesn't. Our government lies about everything. They can't say a true word. Fauci says, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. It's fine, safe and effective, and all those things, which, by the way, they are, for all intents and purposes. Every vax is. They can't not mince words. The Bible doesn't. It doesn't say, except this or whatever. Everything's very straightforward. It's very easy to use logic to get out of logic. especially when we're indoctrinated early on. Why would they do that? Why does it make people so queasy to go, yeah, I hate bad guys and I believe in the Bible, but flat earth don't? No, I'm not one of them. It's not about flat earth. It's a trick. It's to make you want to not believe the first words in the Bible. The first words in the Bible, you're going to have to deny. It's going to be a shortcut. If Christians are persecuted, just ask, do you believe the earth is stationary and separated by a firmament, like it says in the first words of the Bible, or do you believe in science, the scientism? And most preachers today, you could say, science is wrong, the Bible is right. He's going to get out a science book to prove you wrong. It's very important. I was always bothered by, why do I feel closer to God looking for this? 1 Proverbs 25:2. I'm looking for the truth. You'll never find it because nothing is totally true. There's always something else to find out. But if you keep digging around, you'll just stop one day and go, I'm a better person than I was. But I still do the same things. You're a better person and you shine brighter because God is happy. I run a doghouse, and I made the analogy like, what if God was just bored? We get puppies, they're a pain in the ass. They destroy everything, but we're still so happy we get them. And we keep doing it. They don't try and fix the carburetor or fuel injectors. Sorry, I'm older. No, stay out from under the hood of the car. Go play fetch. Go shit in the yard. That's what you do. Be happy to see me. Have a relationship with me. Play fetch. That's your job. I'm sorry. No, don't try and fix the stock market. No, you're a bad dog. And God made a lot of us. He knows some of us aren't going to get home, and that's probably fine. But if you can just be what we're supposed to be, loved. We're not supposed to solve all the world. That's the catch. Just know it's okay. One, we're all going to die anyway. Be on the good side. Just worry about, I say it all the time. You want to go save the world, just instead of make your bed and the lobsters will fix everything. What's beneath your feet, what's above your head, and what's within reach. If that's right, you've got a good start. You're better than most. And if it's not, just start there and make that your daily routine. You're going to find yourself in a good spot. I'm not better or worse than anyone. I'm just a little bit more secure, and it's going to be fine. And it's not defined by who wins an election or what war we fight or when I die or how I die. It's just this idea that hit me out of the blue. And I don't worry about anything. I don't worry about money, even though I want more. I don't worry about alcohol, even though I've worked in bars and as a musician my entire life and abused it, did everything to the point where I felt like I didn't control it. Guess what? I just said, I don't. And I made one rule. I'll drink whenever the fuck I want. I won't get drunk. Been great. I don't get drunk at all. Just sip on it. Sometimes I just look at it. I don't take pills anymore. And if I do, it's fine. Because I admitted that they lied to me. They put me on Percocet, and they didn't tell me that I couldn't throw them away once I was done. And I had to admit that I was duped, which is very hard to do. I was an overeater, just made a little rule. I'll eat as much as I want. I'll eat twice as much as I want. I'm just going to wait till I get home to eat as soon as I get full. Never thought about it again. I have a 34-inch waist right now. There's something there. And I'm not good. I'm not stronger than most people. I can't sit at a desk. There's a lot of things I can't do, but I admit it. If there's a couple of you guys out there that are sitting there going, you know what, I haven't been able to lick this or whatever, contact me. This is a very weird thing for me to put out there because it's easy to get made fun of, act like you know stuff. All I know is that I'm loved enough to share it with other people I know are loved enough that may not know it. And it solves everything. There's no decision to make. I've not made one decision, just things have happened. When I was getting divorced, and I went to mediation. And divorce is just full of lies and all that stuff. All I did was sit there and go, I pray to the God that knows the truth. I've never felt so secure in like, bring it, bring whatever you want. This is a person that opened up this business with me and had all kinds of horrible lies, really bad lies that I wasn't even worried about because I tell the truth and she didn't. It was that easy. And I didn't even sweat it. It was the easiest, potentially horrible divorce ever. You just don't have to worry about it. And there is armor that goes with it. And you are worth it. And all you have to do, the only answer, I believe, at least right now, is just admit that you don't know why certain things happen, but you gotta, he rested on the seventh day. You were a lot of work, and he wants you home. I think that's about it. Again, this is a weird thing for me to put out there, but I'll refine it a little bit because I know I put out some goofball humor stuff. Oh, this is I was going to the Flat Earth Conference, not because of anything other than, let me see what the heck was going on. I watched a lot of stuff, and there is some anomaly. I don't know what the heck I did with my pick. Where you can zoom in on things and, you know, anything can, what the fuck did I do with my pick? I was just, no, I just had it in my hand. Anyway, don't worry about it. It was weird. And I started looking at stuff and I'm like, I don't know if it's flat or not. I don't want people thinking I'm a flat earther. But for all intents and purposes, so I was going to the conference and I was like, I'm going to write a song because everybody sucks. And if you want to write a song, I'm a good songwriter. So this one was supposed to make fun of it. It turned out to be one of my favorite songs I've ever written. And it goes like this. It's called The Edge of the Earth. It's basically, at the time, it means it doesn't matter. What do you think the Earth is? It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. And it goes like this, as it often does. Don't worry about it. You're making me nervous. It's not right there, is it? Sorry, I'm looking for a pick. How could I not have it? This is why live streaming is the best. Ugh. Oh well, okay. I think we've done our due diligence. Cool. It's called The Edge of the Earth. We're told of places we'll never go. We just quit searching because they told us so. Some of us feel it, there's something ain't right. Some people were lied to because some people lied. No more will the wisest high priest Nobel prizes carry such weight of words in a book. All it might take is one look. So don't let them tell you can't see that far. Look up through the waters, dance with the stars. And if your horizon keeps rising, you don't need your eyes on the ball. Don't let them tell you can't see that far. You don't need the edge of the earth to know where you are. To bed early, it's Monday. School's back on Sunday. Walk into that desk, son, and do what you're told. Years might fly by, don't you ask why. Now one thing has changed, now you're 40 years old. And you can end up just like me. It only takes one look to see. Don't let them tell you can't see that far. Look up through the waters and dance with the stars. And if your horizon keeps rising, you don't need your eyes on the ball. Don't let them tell you can't see that far. You don't need the edge of the earth just to know where you are. Some feeling It may feel stationary. Stand straight and stand tall and go far. The apple of his eye can't be but right where you are. So don't let them tell you can't see that far. Through the waters and dance with the stars. And if your horizon keeps rising, you don't need to rise on the ball. Don't let them tell you can't see that far. You don't need the edge of the earth to know where you are. You don't need the edge of the earth just to know where you are. Thanks, guys. I'll get better at this, but see a little more of this stuff. If you have any questions, just remember you're doing it right no matter what you're doing. If you just remember that one thing, you're supposed to be doing it. As long as you know it, it's true. The conundrum. Late.